What's going on, traders? Happy Monday. I hope you guys all had an amazing weekend, but I'm going to go ahead and let you guys know exactly how my trading went today. But before I start, I do want to mention that on Friday, right, we do apologize for not posting a recap. My brother was trading, right, and he did finish up about $84, something like that on the day, right, but he actually wasn't able to make a recap. So I did want to make you guys aware of that in case you guys were following his progress and wanted to know how he ended the week. But let's get started with today's recap. As you guys can see, right, I only traded SQs and TQs today, and I lost $111 on SQs and $56 on TQs. So overall, right, not the best day for me. And for my account as a whole, I did take quite a big hit today, right? So down almost $500 on the day. And a big reason for that is Roblox. As you guys can see, I hold 60 shares of Roblox, right? And I lost $328 holding those shares today, right? And it's because some news got released, right? That ended up driving the price down, but I'll go ahead and show you guys that afterwards. But as you guys can see, right, these were all my filled orders. I had quite a bit of trading today, right? I stopped trading today at 9:56 and started trading at 6:30 like normal on market open, right? So definitely was not the most effective today. And as you guys can see, just looking at the chart, right, the market was up and down all over the place today, right? It would go from pushing up to selling off to pushing back up, selling off, pushing up. And so direction wasn't very clear. I got faked out, so many times today. And because of that, it kept causing me to overtrade, right? All of these quick changes in direction made me just constantly, be on edge whether or not we were actually going to start to break these support levels and start to fall, right? Or if we were going to continue to bounce. And what I was pretty much looking out for was I knew that the Nasdaq itself tends to have a resistance area right around, this general, line that I just drew. And so now that we were trading closer to this area, during the market session, heading into pre-market where we were at, we were closer to the line itself, right? And so I personally felt that, because of that, there was more margin for SQQQ on the day rather than TQQQ. And so that's where I wanted to focus my attention on, right? So as soon as market opened, we saw this thing shoot up, and I got burned a few times trying to predict where this thing was going to find, a resistance. But once it eventually peaked out, right, it started to finally sell off. And by then I had dug myself in a little hole. And so I wasn't really able to necessarily profit on this drop, right? I was pretty much just working my way out of the red. And so once it started to fall here, I really thought that there was a chance we could break this support and continue to fall, but we ultimately ended up finding a support. And so I got burned, quite a few times where I would think that we were pretty much gonna end up falling, right? And they end up testing the support and breaking through it, right? Because in my opinion, I felt that we were testing this resistance area so many times that once we did validate and start to fall, right, I personally just thought that we were gonna end up selling off and breaking through this support, right? And so that's obviously not what ended up happening. This thing had very quick changes in direction, as you guys can see, right? Where it would pretty much end up, finding a bottom before it pushes back up to the middle VWAP and end up selling off, right? And so you really could have made money by focusing on the lows and the highs of the day. But what would have been tricky is when this thing finally broke support, right? And would finally break the previous support that it was experiencing, then it would end up finding a new interval that it would start trading in between, right? So rather than, trade between the middle and the bottom VWAP, now it's trading, it's using the previous support as a resistance, and it's finding a new bottom here, right? This ascending, these higher highs and higher lows here. And it pretty much repeated that throughout the day where it started to, sell. It would pretty much consolidate here, push back up, right? Fall, consolidate, push back up, fall. It broke the previous support, and then it used it as a resistance level, right? As you guys can see, the previous support became a new resistance level. And then as this thing would sell off and break the previous support, right, it did the same thing where it ended up breaking the support and flushing down a bit, right? And so there was plenty of money to be made. I just got burned quite a bit, right, on these direction changes. And because of the fact that I do have to go in to work at 10 o'clock, right, I am not able to catch all of the market movement. But I do need to do a better part of making sure I really only buy in when it makes sense to me, and I'm sizing up only when it makes sense. And I'm not just trying to predict when something's gonna bottom, right, or find a resistance. And so that's pretty much everything I did want to talk about today, right? I did want to also, mention why Roblox is down as much as it is, right? Just on Friday, it was closing at around, 45.50, 45.60. Today it's trading at, $39. So under $40 a share today. And the big reason for this drop, as you guys can see by looking at some of these, you know, um, news events, right, for the stock, it's saying that so although the daily active users looks good, right, as you guys can see, it represented an increase of 26% year over year, right? It pretty much said that total revenue for March came in between 212 and 223 million, and it was estimated that they were going to go between 247 and 255. So revenue was definitely lower than reported, and on top of that, they said that they are no longer going to report metrics on a monthly basis. So because of this news, right, it did act as a negative catalyst and cause the stock ultimately to plummet, right? As you guys can see, this thing just even on a bigger time frame, right? What you guys will notice is that this thing, had a really nice drop today, and it has been ascending still and forming these higher lows and higher highs. So we just need to follow up with it and see if it ends up curling back up to the EMA, right? And then if it starts to use that as a resistance or a support. But I am excited to follow up with that, right? And follow up with the NASDAQ in general heading into tomorrow, right? But thank you guys so much for your time. I want to thank you guys again just for supporting the channel in general, right? And just dropping in every day. It really means a lot to us. But thank you guys so much. If you guys found this useful in any way, we really do appreciate you dropping a like and subscribing. But otherwise, I will be posting a recap tomorrow, so I hope to see you guys then. Take care.